Barber Shop Podcast, episode 55, coming to you live from Boxo Studio in Hamilton, Ontario, where we strive to each and every week bring you some of the very best in music and out of the incredible talent pool that we have here. It's all deep end. There's no kiddie pools around here. Ryan, thank you for coming back and doing 90% of the work.
Thank you. Who else is going to do it?
Well, nobody.
Jordo doesn't start for a couple more weeks.
Yes, we have an intern coming. Yeah. Looking forward to that. And it's a cold, chilly December day.
It's bitter.
It's bitter out there, but we're going to warm the cockles of your heart in the bestest kind of way by having the kind of soul-warming music that today's guest is all about. We have the members of Trickbag, all 5 of them here at Boxo Studio. Going to tell the Trickbag story, going to play some Trickbag music, and there's a lot of interesting weaves and ups and downs, and I'm sure we're going to all learn a few things, probably even the guys in the band. So I'm going to introduce them to you in a particular order, going left to right. It'd be, I think, incumbent on me, less jumping around. We've got Les Smith, who's wearing the winter jester hat. Musical headgear is always favored here at Barbershop Podcast. Singer-songwriter, multi-instrumental individual, but really well known for how sweet he blows a harp, and he's brought his box of harmonicas in. Thanks for coming into the studio tonight, Les.
Especially designed with a zebra.
Yeah, he's probably got a whole collection of them.
I do.
And we've got Donna Panchezak, who's come in with her wonderful husband Paul, who we'll meet in a second. It's always great to hear your voice, and it's always nice to meet you. We bump into each other here and there and everywhere. And we've also got Larry Feudo on guitar, and beside him, the ever handsome Michael Hickey.
Plug for balls.
It is, and that's why he brings a stool, because then it's like he's got a little bit more of a shine, like he won the gold medal.
That's it. Yeah.
But the king on the throne, of course, at the end of the day, is Paul Panchezak. How you doing, Paul?
Doing okay, Kevin.
Oh man, it's nice to have you guys in the studio.
It's nice to be out of the cold.
Yeah, and it's as you see, I fixed the furnace. We might not even have to turn it off. Did we turn it off this time, Ryan? Probably not.
No.
So here we go. We're going to find out how quiet it is. Are we going to freeze, or are we going to give it a go? Because I think maybe we can get away.
We'll be
for the viewers, I changed the motor in the furnace, and the fan on it's from 1957. I have no idea how old.
Vintage.
Yes, it's a vintage piece, but saved myself a few $100 by being kind of handy. Red Green says if you're not handsome, you should at least be handy. So it's handy enough to do that, and the thing runs so quiet now. We used to have to turn it off so it wouldn't destroy the microphones. So we're gonna keep ourselves warm on this bitter cold night. I don't know who wants to start and kick in, but let's start right at the story of Trickbag, and I guess it probably comes down to, you two guys meeting in high school at some point.
It comes down to Larry and I.
Meeting in high school?
Yeah, kind of meeting in high school. We've been together about that long, and I've known Larry about as long as I've known my wife, which is 41 years or something like that.
They don't fight nearly as much.
And Larry and I kind of started the band late 80s or something like that, but it wasn't a band. It was like a music club. It was strictly about the music. We had the ambition to learn tunes that we never got to play with anybody else. Let's play some Ry Cooder. Let's play some Little Feat. Let's see if we could learn some band tunes. And when we started, we weren't sure it was going to be a band. It might have just been a music club in Larry's basement. And then it became a band. Eventually, we went out and played those songs in front of people. And that's how it got started.
Was there a pretty vibrant music community at that age, or was it just a few and far between people who were like interested in starting playing music?
No, there was a lot of music. I don't know. I grew up not too far from here, down by Barton and Sherman, and there was 5 bands on my block, which only ran between Cannon and Barton.
Right.
It was very, that was a golden age of music in the 1970s.
Yes, no, but it was like there's many people like myself who, that was a life force. When you grew up, that was something to believe in. It wasn't background music; it was very much
exactly
the score.
I saw Robbie Robertson on Peter Mansbridge, and he said, "What's the difference between music when you guys were the band and music now?" And he said, "When we were playing, it was foreground. Now it's background."
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. So, I don't know, Larry. What was your first impression of Paul when you started playing with him?
I remember seeing Paul playing in a high school band at our assembly.
Before we met,
before we met at our assembly at Cathedral High School, and his band was really, really good. They played like all the Santana and really great numbers.
Allman Brothers.
They played it really well. I was really impressed that these guys could do that at that age.
Right.
And it was a different time. I think people really valued music, and it seems like it was across the board. Everyone admired musicians and music for what it was. It seemed to have a little more grit to it, or a little more authenticity than it does these days. And people sort of take music for granted now.
Yeah, I agree.
I always use the analogy. When I was a kid, people lined up in front of Sam the Record Man because Abbey Road was coming out that day, and they lined up early. Now they line up for some war game or something, or video game, or the latest Xbox. We lined up for the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And
So, Michael, when did you start playing with the guys?
Well, I guess...
you were the first bass player that did a gig with us.
I was the first, yes.
So the band would grow as the longer you two played it. You would have the guys would drop by. It's like, I play this, play this.
The bass player in the music club never played a gig. Mike played the first gig.
It was the Leander Boat Club.
Yeah.
And I remember it,
Okay. That's right.
I remember it real well. And then I went away to Vancouver. I left the band, and
threw it all away, just like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Family and kids and everything, and trying to find the dream and make some money and all that will do it. But I came back to Hamilton because I missed my friends and family. And when I came back, Sean O'Halloran had moved to the bass player's spot at that point in time and played. And then Pete Ribbeney after him. And then there was
and Kevin Christoph from Simply Saucer was in this band for about a year.
Well, Kevin was after me.
Was he after?
Yeah, he was right after
your first. Yeah,
after my first go around, and then so I sort of hung out. I'm pretty good friends with Mike Berthelmer in town, and Mike and I are all best buddies, and I played with a lot of people during that time. But I always kept my eye on the Trickbaggers. Got introduced to Les, I guess, at some point, and then 2004. Was the year I rejoined the band. So
he left all his hair and then
yeah, I did. I mean,
I'm a new man. I'm a new man.
It's not talking.
Yeah. When I rejoined the band, our album Cacti Redux was done 3 months after I rejoined the band.
Live album. Yeah.
Live album.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Which is our second album.
Yeah, and playing live is probably one of the things that you guys enjoy doing the most. Like recording, it can be a chore. It's fun, but playing live, you have so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the first time you played or sang with these guys?
I don't remember the specific gig, but hanging out in Larry's basement and
in the music club. She was in the music club. Yeah.
Well, yeah, humming along, and then Larry actually encouraged me. He said, "You should really try doing some solo vocals." And we would get together, and I was following, a lot of music at the time. And we tried out some tunes, and Larry's basically said, that sounds not too bad. Next time we get together, why don't you try singing that on the microphone? So slowly, I began singing solo tunes in the band.
See, that's what I meant.
It
was like a music club. It was the ambition to try things. So it was Larry saying to Donna, why don't you try and sing a song? Why don't you come pick out a song, learn it. We'll learn the changes, come down and try it out. It's an experiment. And
I really loved Bonnie Raitt at that time and listened to her records. And that was kind of inspired me to, try singing.
Right.
Although I always enjoyed singing. I mean, growing up, I was in school choirs, and as Paul and I met in high school, we were in the music program together in high school.
Timelia.
And then,
and used to always be on
That's
stage
right.
at the International singing with Crowbar. Oh, what a feeling she'd be up there singing harmonies.
So it was no secret she had a good voice. People knew that she had a good voice, or did she kind of take you by
preferred to
surprise?
stay in the
She was a
background.
natural. Yeah, she was a natural.
I just preferred to stay in the background, and But I always enjoyed performing.
Wonderful. And Les, did they come and poach you from somebody, or did you come and
I was sort of
hijack
in
the band?
between bands, but I used to see these guys before I got a band together. They were one of the bands that I'd go and see. I don't know if it was I don't think it was Trickbag, but it was all these
Trickbag. Well, yeah, you actually played on the same bill with us a couple of times at the Hess Village Blues Festival.
Yeah,
a few times. Yeah, with your band,
this is
Lester and the
before,
B-Flat.
Before that, I used to see them at the different places, but Pier. There was a restaurant downtown, Pier 4, and I worked there actually, and then they used to have a regular. I think they had a regular gig.
Yeah, we did.
But Lester had a band too, right? You had Lester and the B-Flats.
I had a band, Lester and the B-Flats, and we sort of fell apart. And then Larry offered me a ton of money to join the band.
You could not.
He said you get
no.
100% of what we're making right now.
We needed to up the handsomeness.
I said, what's 100% of the zero? No, it was. No, of course, because we've been playing, in different ensembles and different.
Yeah, we had a couple other little projects going with Les.
So I'd play with Paul, and Paul. Sometimes I think Paul played with Lester and the B-Flat. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I played with you with Mike Branton, and then we did a gig with Larry and Sean.
So we're all in the same kind of blues, rock.
It's quite a tight community, actually, and it's nice to see that there's young guys still coming up, who play that, and there's kind of no room or patience for inner fighting between the roots musics. It's like everyone's like,
we
folk,
better
blues,
be friends.
Roots, mountain music.
It keeps going.
We need all the friends we can
We're
get.
living through about our fourth blues society in Hamilton now, I think. Going back to the 70s.
Well, it's a healing music. It's like it really is, and it's the walls on the foundation that the walls are built on. So you guys, the one thing I love about you is you have that both. You have the foundation, but you also play a lot of the walls that have come off of that foundation, and you must notice the kind of effect that has.
That's a
on
good way
audiences.
of putting it. I like that, because that was kind of. We're not a blues band that plays a lot just slow blues and shuffles. I think we only know about 2 slow blues, but we like to play the walls that come off that foundation too, which is some of those other bands I mentioned.
Well, let's talk
earlier.
about that. Yeah, what kind of, like, we talk about funk, and we talk about what other types of music do you feel are represented in what you do?
Represents what we do. Well, some of the acts that we mentioned earlier, Cooter, Little Feat, the band, what was, I guess now, Americana music, but we didn't know it at the time. It just sounded like it had those roots that you spoke of, that it came from tradition,
Right.
Yeah.
And we all have very different tastes. We all listen to different types of music. I know we might not bring all those styles to this music, to this band, but it influences our own playing.
Well, speaking of which, I think we've had enough chit chat that I would like to hear a little bit of music. You're going to play some stuff in the studio for us, and we've got a few CDs you brought by. We're going to play some songs off of a couple of those. But just in sound check, you sounded so good, very infectious, and I think for a cold, chilly December night, that's how I'd like to kick off.
Yeah, we got a couple
night.
of Christmas ones.
You got a good one. So warm it up, and when you guys are ready, give us a little taste.
I think we're do some fishing blues. Will take us
Ice
ahead, to spring.
She gonna be doing most of the singing?
No,
Les
is going ice fishing today.
Yeah.
A little hole in the ice.
I think this tune is an old Son Thomas tune. It was on the, and I never knew it was on it then, but I knew the song before. But it was on this American anthology of folk music, and it had all roots music, country music, blues, ragtime, gospel music. So really, that is kind of like the basis of where we were coming from. Because when I started to play guitar, what I was listening to, I heard the new guys that were interpreting folk music, blues, or whatever. But I went behind that, and I learned. I sat down with all these records and learned all those styles. Because to me, that was the essence of it. Even if those records sounded, you listened and you learned something, because you could learn something firsthand instead of secondhand or third hand or fourth hand, which a lot of people unfortunately did.
Yeah.
So, and this is indicative of that. It's sort of one of our favorite tunes.
Excellent. And you get to hear it live. We get to share it with you here at Barbershop Podcast.
You go fishing all of the time, baby, gonna fishing too. I bet your life, your sweet wife, gonna catch more fish than you. Well, many fish bite if you got good bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Hey, many fish bite if you got good bait. Well, I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby gone fishing too. You know my baby brother about to drive me out of my mind. Say, can I go fishing with you? I took him down to Coots Paradise. What do you think he did do? Caught a great big fish from the bottom of the pond. Laughed 'cause he thought it was a real gone. Many fish bite if you got good bait. Well, I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby gone fishing too. Go fishing, Larry. Now put them in the pot, baby, put them in the pan. Cook them till they're nice and brown. Make another batch of their buttermilk pancakes. Chomp them things, chew them on down. Many fish bite if you got good bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Hey, many fish bite if you got good bait. Well, I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby gone fishing too. You know my baby brother about to drive me out of my mind. Said, can I go fishing with you? I took him down to the Grand River. What do you think he did do? Caught a great big carp from the bottom of the pond. Laughed 'cause I thought it was real gone. Many fish bite if you got good bait. Well, I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby gone fishing too. I'm gonna go fishing. Well, I bet you go fishing all of the time. Baby, going fishing too. I bet your life, your sweet wife, gonna catch more fish than you. Well, many fish bite if you got good bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Hey, many fish bite if you got good bait. Well, I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby gone fishing too. Yeah, Donna's going fishing, Larry going fishing, and Mikey going fishing too. Yeah, Paul's going fishing, Kevin going fishing, everybody fishing too.
If that don't put a smile on your face, you're dead. I swear. Beautiful job. So,
wake up.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody. So when you were Trickbag up and running and starting to get traction, you've played with some really incredible people over the years. So everyone kind of take a moment in their heads where it's like, wow, I met this person, I played with this person, I recorded with this person, and kind of share with me that kind of one moment where you had a bit of a jaw-dropping moment, and what some of these musical, because we live in a very rich environment. There's incredible music coming out of Hamilton and this area around here, and some people continue to be coming out of this area. Just blow me away. But talk about some of the people who shaped your musical life. Start with you, Les.
With me? Well, these guys.
Of course.
These are the biggest stars I played with. I don't know. And I don't know that I have jaw-dropping experience meeting. But, you know, I jam with Biscuit and King Biscuit Boy. And...
the guy from California.
Yeah, Stu Hayden. I mean, I went down to California to do a little festival down there with Stu Hayden, Mike Branton, and
he's modest, but he wrote one of the best songs on the first Quartet album with Sylvia Tyson and
yeah, I forgot all about that song.
Yeah. So and you've been writing since you were a little kid.
Yeah.
Because I find a lot of people who write.
He started out with printing,
and not all the letters are the right way.
Cursive for a few years.
He's back to printing.
I'm back to printing. But
actually, business cards is what he's been printing.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. No, so no. I guess no big stars, but I played with lots of great people, and I had my own CD. Put my own CD out with all these guys on it, and Steve Strongman and Mike Berthelmer, and the best of the best in Hamilton, as far as I'm concerned.
You're on stage with Matt Murphy about 2 months ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'm so modest.
The damn Blues Brothers.
Myself in the foot. I played with Matt Guitar Murphy a couple of months ago at Hamilton Place. And so he's, he's in a wheelchair, but he's still rocking and rolling. So.
They wheel him out.
Yeah, well, I was amazed when I saw Johnny Winter, and then you looked at him, it's like, oh, man, he's going to blow away, before the end of the show and just keel over. No.
It brings him back.
He had a great
life.
band, but oh my God, he could still saw. It was something
music
else.
is a healer, man.
It really is.
Music is a healer.
You see the cognitive, people who are like half.
Keeps you young. I'm 4,622. So
keep going on.
If it's in your soul, it's in your soul.
Yeah. Did you? What about you when you sang with someone who was like?
I guess I was most awe of King Biscuit Boy, Richard Newell. Paul played with a kind of 80s version Crowbar with Kelly J from Crowbar and King Biscuit Boy. And they did a lot of shows. They traveled, and he was awesome to watch. Very inspiring.
Don't forget Sonny.
Yeah, that's right, Sonny Del Rio.
Yeah, don't forget, the world's oldest teenager has been on this show.
And Alex McDougall.
Friend of the show.
Alex McDougall was in that band.
That's right,
and
Alex McDougall as well, who we all
But Larry and I played with Kelly J before that. We played in the Kelly J band in 83.
Are they taking all the good names? Is there any ones you got left?
It was actually called Kelly J's with a Z. Jayz.
That wasn't copywritten, that one. What about you, Larry?
Well, like Paul said, he and I both played with Kelly J, and that was kind of like a real rock and roll tutorial, if there ever was one. Yeah. I mean, he would put us through our paces, and you'd learn an awful lot because he had the experience. I mean, he'd been through it all. He'd
road tested.
Yeah, and he would sort of he would make us do things that would increase our endurance to play longer and
faster.
And
he came out of Ronnie Hawkins, and he took us to see Ronnie Hawkins. That band,
that's right.
Right around that time, and we went backstage at Ontario Place, and he said, "Ronnie, this is my new band. We play all the same tunes as you, only faster."
That's right. That's right. And like I say, we learned an awful lot from him, and it was good because it was a mentorship that we got from him, and who better to learn from
than the master?
Yeah.
You guys played with Garth Hudson and
well, that was in a few years back. Yeah, with him. So we got to meet a lot of people like that. Garth Hudson,
Jeff Healey.
Yeah,
we played with Jeff Healey.
Yeah, Jeff Healey.
I played with Jeff Healey a number of times.
Yeah,
I did.
There was a lot of guys like that and then the other side of the coin, we had the rock and roll tutorial from Kelly, and on the other side, we had the blues tutorial from Biscuit Boy. And Paul and I played with Biscuit for 10, 15 years. Paul longer than I, because he played with him on the road with Crowbar.
Yeah.
And he would hip you to things like, listen to this guy, cop that.
And one of the CDs, got some Hamilton rock and roll royalty there, a couple original shakers, Rick Andrew and Dave Rave, like Dave's been on the show, and it's just and Rick is just such an awesome guy as well.
Oh,
so
they come out to play with us sometimes too, sing with us and play with us.
We've been recording Christmas songs with Rick Andrew for 11 years now. We do one a year. And we've got about 11. I think we're going to do our 12th this year for
number 12 this year.
Yeah.
Almost
Saturday.
To put out a Christmas
for the Valley View Christmas.
Saturday. Nobody told me about this.
It took us 12 years, but.
Les, we're thinking of going another way. Sorry.
You're going on another label again?
We'll see you on another label.
What about you, Michael?
Much of the ditto. There's a lot of different experiences. One of the things the guys haven't talked about, mentorship certainly, but the practical jokes that have come out of these things. And the one that gets me, we were playing a show at Festival of Friends, and Kelly J's show, and Trickbag was backing, but we were opening for Eric Burton and the Animals. And Eric was in town, and I was kind of in awe.
Yeah.
This is an icon, kind of a thing. So Kelly says to me, Mike, he says, Eric's in the dressing room downstairs below the stage. Why don't you go down and introduce yourself? I said, sure. So I went down and put my bass down in the room opposite and kind of opened the door, kind of a thing. And there's Eric. And I said, hi. Stick my head through, kind of, and expletive, deletive, and something got thrown at the door. I went, like this, and Kelly, I could hear him laughing, killing himself laughing, actually.
Fell forward.
So.
Yep.
But there was lots of that and whatnot. The humanity of it all, I guess, really.
Isn't that they said the Hindenburg?
That's right. Oh, the humanity. Sometimes it feels like we're on the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Now,
our music, I should mention too, Kevin, our music has been recognized on some level as well. Maybe I can ask Larry to talk about that.
Well,
we've been on television.
There you go.
Brush with paint too, on some level.
Yeah. Well, we have a licensing deal with Aperture Music in Los Angeles, and they've licensed 5 of our songs to different big-time TV shows.
Nice.
So, if you watch those kind of shows, but
it's exciting in its own right.
Yeah.
I've had a few people, songwriters in here, and they go, this one's up for this show, this one's up for this show, and it's like, oh, that's exciting. And you listen to the music and go, yes, I can see it. And I think that would be a fun
it's like
job
the Mark
to be able
Knopf,
to.
their money for nothing.
You
just sit at home and they send you a check.
Well, I think I'm a proponent of Hamilton having its own version of Muscle Shoals, and just having a factory where musicians can go in and say, give me $80 and I'll sign off on something, and then the city could do that very same thing. I think there's a potential for that. But speaking of recordings and money and promotion and getting yourself going, talk about your first CD. Making a first CD, was the process an enjoyable one?
It's a great story behind that CD, because it's the you play bars all the time, and they all get. I don't want to say they all get to be the same, but sometimes you wonder if it's worth it. And we were playing a bar in Toronto in Mirvish Village, and there was 3 people in the bar, and we could have folded, but we played. We had our friend Dennis Keldy sitting in on keyboards with us, so it made it exciting for us just to play with him. We didn't care if there was anybody in the bar. One of those 3 people came up to us and said, I'm starting a record company, and you guys are really good. I'm thinking of signing you, which people tell you in bars all the time, and they're full of it. We said, okay, here's our number. The guy called us back. He was starting a record company, and that was how we made our first album. He started a record company called Peerless Records. The guy's name was Fred Xavier. Brought in Mike Fonfara to produce us at Grant Avenue, and it was great. We did an album in 5 days. We did all the tracks in 3 days, mixed one day.
That's the way they write the damn story, isn't it?
So you never know.
But it's true.
You never know.
You know,
Exactly.
if you would have phoned it in,
You never
if you would have
know.
given it some
there was
shit performance, you never would have got that.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
you
you
never got that
could.
deal.
And they always say you never know who's out there.
Yeah,
you
that's
never know
right.
who's
And
out
it
there.
actually happened.
And
Changed your life. Well, let's listen to a little life-changing music right here from Trickbag's debut CD.
And this was a slightly different lineup. This was Larry and I and Donna and a guy named Sean O'Halloran who plays in a band called the Stingrays now, and Mike Von Farah and Jesse O'Brien were guests on it. John Lewis was a guest on guitar on it, and we had a great. You won't hear them on this track. We had two great horn players, Leo Sullivan and Steve McDade.
Well, it's something that you should check out. You know, I'm sure people could get their mitts on it if they dig a little hard. Trickbag.ca. The link is going to be on the post at the end of the day. But for right now, we're going to hear "Hard to Be Cruel" on BarbershopPodcast.com.
Well, when I was a young man, sitting in school, I heard what they said about the golden rule. Yeah. Do unto others as you'd have them do. Well, I'm here to tell you there's more to that rule. It isn't hard. It isn't hard to be cruel. Love thy neighbor, I read it at a glance. Just how do you do it when you don't get the chance? That street runs both ways between me and you. And on that day they're waiting, the kind and the crew. You'll be standing there naked, and you look like a fool. And I wish things could have been different between me and you, but we burned our bridges behind us. There's nothing more than we can do. If it sounds like I'm preaching, then maybe I am. I can't help but wonder just where do we stand? You said you love me and call me your friend. Game that you're playing will hurt in the end. And I hope that what I say don't knock you off of your stool. It isn't hard to be cruel. Hard to be cruel. Hard to be cruel. Isn't hard to be cruel. Hard to be cruel. Isn't hard to be cruel. Hard to be cruel. Hard to be cruel. Hard to be cruel.
Ooh, it is hard to be cruel. beautiful recording. So, what was it like playing with Michael?
Fanfare?
Yeah, just
fantastic.
Incredible.
We had never met him before, and we were nervous. We thought, this guy's going to produce us. He doesn't know anything about us. He came out to rehearsals for a month, once a week for a month, made very small suggestions. You know that part? Why don't you put it at the beginning instead of in the middle? That was like the biggest suggestions he would make. Tweaked a few things. We went in, and he was wonderful. It couldn't have been a better choice for a producer than Mike Fanfare. He was, and he played great on it too.
Yeah.
He played great organ on it. That track that you just heard, "Hard to Be Cruel," we had, I don't know how many songs for the album, and there was one song left to record, and we had two possibilities. And the Mike said, play them both for me. And we played that one, and we played the other one. He said, I'll take the first one. And that's the take that you hear right there, is the take when he said, play it, let me hear what it sounds like. Boom, that's it.
and so much to be said for that, especially in the studio environment, to get the feel, to get where you're loose enough, it's got life and it doesn't drag. And it's for anyone who's not involved in the business or never recorded, they take for granted that to mill the hell out of something is not what you're getting at. It still has to have a bit of a live feel, So, how is the sound or what Trickbag does now? Has it changed? Because your music is based in traditional music, but it's a what they call a mashup now, I guess, where it comes from you guys' own personal experiences, and there's other forms of music because you're younger or older than a lot of these forms. How has it changed from when you recorded that first CD to say the material you're working on for your upcoming CD?
Well, it changed having Les in the band because we had a harp. Harp became a primary soloist in the band, which it wasn't before, so that affected the sound. It probably took it in an even more traditional blues direction. And then Les's songwriting contribution. It was another voice songwriting wise too that gave it another flavor.
Yeah. Do you write the same way all the time, or do you write in different ways? Do you write off a jam, or you write by yourself and bring it to the band?
Usually I write by myself and bring it to the band, and a few times Larry's added things, and so we had some co-writes, and we have, and the band puts their own spin on it. But
it's funny how it takes on everyone's personality, though, right? It's like not just what instruments are being played, but who's playing them. And then sometimes I've seen people play where it's like they'll sound one way, but when they play with this person, they sound
sort of adjust and
it just changes that little swing of the whole song altogether.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to play. I want to hit another song, but this off of your second CD, Tricknology. When you recorded,
it's actually our third CD. We have that live one in between. The live one was recorded.
The secret live one.
Yeah, secret live one. I didn't know we were recording it when we recorded it.
You seriously didn't know it was being recorded?
We were playing the Cactus Fest, and Mike had just joined the band, and Mike Berthelmer, we mentioned earlier, he had a little 8-track setup, and Mike Hickey said to Mike Berthelmer, "Bring it down and record us live."
Yep.
I was actually peeved. I said, I don't want to be thinking about recording. This is a live show. I'm worried about playing those, but I don't want to think about recording. Well, okay, play. I'm not going to pay any attention, but record it. And then it sounded okay, and we thought, well, we could use this to give to club owners and, get some gigs from it. But then we started giving it to fans outside of the club owners, and then it was more fans, and then I was using up all my ink in my home printers. Right
churning them out.
So
we started printing them commercially, and I don't know, we've gone through 500 or 600 of them now.
People really love that one because it was live. We had Sonny played with us, Sonny Del Rio, and Jesse O'Brien was on piano, and it was really immediate. It had a great feel to it.
You mentioned Dave Rafe; he loves that one. He thinks that's our best.
Well, Dave Rafe can't be wrong.
That's right.
It's on
Dave Rafe endorsed.
Well, it's like not the greatest lighting in the world. There we go. But it's recorded at Dundas's very own Cactus Fest, which always has a wonderful stage of music.
Well, I think the other thing is it's led to us being in the Cactus Parade for the last 10,000 years. We play that.
That's the nicest gig around. It's like you play one song.
Certainly one of the best paying gigs around.
They sweep you off.
Yeah, it's like being in the Mardi Gras.
But that's like we're the favorite sons or something.
Well,
But that was our second. And
That
now
was
now
the
we
second.
have a third one
Yeah.
called Tricknology, which is our second studio album.
Yeah.
And you're going to play something off
I'm
that?
going to play Friends on Friday. Is there anything you want to tell me about it, or is it
Let's listen to
self-explanatory?
It's
defer to
It's
Les on that one.
self-explanatory, but I did write it, and I think it sort of tells itself.
All right. Well, we're going to hear it, and you're going to hear it at barbershoppodcast.com.
Where are my clothes? What did we do? It started with a drink last night. Now I'm lying with you. Who would have guessed? Who would have known? We've been friends on Friday night, lovers by Saturday morning. Told me you're blue, he hurt you again. I've always been there when you were down and needed a friend. Well, everything changed when we walked through your door. We were friends on Friday night, lovers by Saturday morning. Honey, it feels so funny holding each other tight. Oh, with a twist of fate, everything can change overnight. It scares me to death. Oh, but it feels so right. What will be. Sometimes you just can't fight it. Accidents happen, and I thank the Lord. We were friends on Friday night, lovers by Saturday morning. Changed overnight. It scares me to death, but it feels so right. And what will be, will be. Sometimes you just can't fight it. Accidents happen, and I thank the Lord. We were friends on Friday night, lovers by Saturday morning. We were friends on Friday night, lovers by Saturday morning.
Sure.
Okay.
BarbershopPodcast.com. We got a little trick bag. Got them in the studio, playing live and playing some great cuts off of their 3 CDs. You get a chance to see them. Highly recommend it. It's a treat for sure. So, who are some of the giants that you feel are maybe not given their due respect-wise, something that you listen to that you're surprised maybe isn't more prevalent, more people are aware of how important this person was in development of music over the last, and this is throw it across the board, in the last half century, any genre, but someone who you either really liked or were turned on later and went, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know about this person.
Okay, so we want to go first?
Yeah.
Well, Little Walter is the genius of the harmonica.
Yeah. He was a Jimi Hendrix of the harmonica, for those of you who don't.
And he still does. I mean, he did stuff that, is even contemporary harmonica players still is a challenge for them to play. He was brilliant.
And a lot of times, people didn't have necessarily a box of harps, so they had to learn to do a lot of cross blowing and do a lot of tricks in order to play different songs.
Yeah, and he did that.
Yeah, and that's it's a God-given gift that you got to work your ass off to get better at.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh God, there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
That's the story of the music business. There's all kinds of people with huge talent, but no commercial sense, or they
or
just
before
don't get
their time.
Yeah, that too.
Or underrepresented.
That too. Yeah, there's all kinds. I mean, God, you could be here all day enumerating these guys, but it wouldn't mean anything to anybody.
You know, the name Trickbag comes from a song by Earl King called Trickbag from New Orleans, and we've always had the New Orleans music as part of what we did. And there's a lot of acts out of New Orleans that aren't known outside of New Orleans that well, that are hugely influential.
Yeah.
Bands like Little Feat and people like Ry Cooder, and even Professor Longhair, who in New Orleans is like a god. Not many people in the general public know who he is, and yet his grooves and his piano playing have influenced all kinds of music that everybody listens to every day.
That's right.
Yeah. I constantly use people like the Flying Burrito Brothers, or a lot of this is as famous as they were in those circles, they did not get that commercial smack.
Little Feat when they were a working band with Lowell George weren't as popular as they are now.
Right.
They were kind of on the fringes of the popular music.
It was commonplace for them to play a gig at a big venue like the Bottom Line or something and have 10 people in the room.
Yeah, because it was viewed, because if you look back in that era, there's a lot of bands who have that, from Alvin Lee to Mountain or whatever. There's bands that's going to have the elements, but Little Feat had, and you saw like from Stevie Ray and other people that jumped that Texas. I don't know how you describe that music, but it was really their stamp on it, wasn't it? They made that they made that sound their own. All right, I want you to make a little sound that's all your own. You're going to do another live one?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do a little gospel number here.
Christmas song.
And actually, gospel was a genre of music that Richard Newell, King Biscuit Boy, really introduced to Paul and I. And this is a traditional gospel song called Go Tell It on the Mountain. We thought it would be appropriate because it is the Christmas season.
And the mountain, or our mountain, is,
that's right.
is right in the shadow of the mountain at Boxo Studio. Go Tell It on the Mountain, Trickbag, boxostudio.com.
Over the hills and everywhere, go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching over silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled, and lo, above the earth rang out an angel's chorus that held our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go born, and God sent his salvation that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ was born. Now people, I was a seeker, I sought both night and day. I sought the Lord to help me, and he showed me the way. He made me a watchman beyond the city walls, and if I am a Christian, I am to lead them all. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ was born. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. A true spiritual.
You can hear that
right here. BarbershopPodcast.com, where you get this kind of magic each and every week. Trickbag, you certainly deliver. And I imagine you guys would play together for long enough. You enjoy having that kind of synergy where you know what's going, but you're still excited about it every time. It's not like, I imagine, does it happen a little bit differently each and every time?
We're always listening to what the other people are doing and reacting to it. So
they never know what I'm going to do. That's all. I'm a wild
You like
card.
it that way.
Because you don't know what you're going to do.
I don't know what I'm going to do, so I just go out and do it, and then I get in trouble later on. They bring me in the back room.
You bring that wonderful spontaneity.
There's a saying.
That's a nice way of putting it.
There's a saying about Kelly J. He never plays the same thing once. We tend to liken less to that maxim. He never plays the same thing once.
To emulate the great Kelly J. If you're listening out there, Kelly.
Well, the first time I met Les, he came in and he was we were just doing a little recording. Edgar Bro came in, and I don't think you'd heard the song before, And if you had it, so he's listening to it as he recorded it, and he's got the headphones on, and he's the only one because I didn't have a headphone amp or anything at the time. So Les is the only one who can hear the track, and it's just him with the headphones on, and he's blowing harp. And it sounded like, a bag of seals getting run over like 2 or 3 times. And it was like, I remember sitting there.
Kevin.
No, and I remember sitting there thinking,
I think you should join Trickbag.
That's
about what I did.
That's a diet you're used to getting fed. Trickbag. But I have to say, it's like when I heard it in the mix, it was jaw-droppingly awesome the very first time.
You said it sounded great at the time.
I still love it.
When I hear that, it sounded great.
You sound like a bag of seals. I
recorded that song with Edgar 4 times over the course of years. Twice at Grant Avenue, twice at Mike. That was old Steel Town, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, but I remember thinking, because he was what he was blowing and where you were, playing it in the song. It's very evocative,
One seal at a time.
One seal at a time.
You know,
A little waste.
you really have
Don't go there.
You really have to be careful what you say to Les here, because he gets mad when people say, "Man, you were really on tonight."
Yeah.
And then he says,
Right.
"What do you mean I was really on tonight?
What night wasn't I on?
This is what people say, and you think, like, what do you mean? In other words, they're implying you usually aren't on. That bugs you.
See, comments like
It's
you sound like a bag of seals being run over. That
No,
plays
I
to
don't.
his insecurities.
No, I like the sound of seals, so I'm not insulted by that.
No, and it wouldn't matter who it was, right? It was just what he was hearing. And there's an intrinsic, because, you know, people say, "Do you play a harmonica?" It's like, well, you know, I suck a blow on it, make noise, but I don't play the harmonica. Are you a guitar player? I play the guitar, you know, but I preserve that definition for a certain sector of musicians who actually have a gift for the instrument.
I don't play guitar very well, but I usually say I play guitar first, as opposed to harmonica. So I play guitar and harmonica. So I don't know. I guess there's a bit of a shame in the
novelty.
Yeah, Sonny was saying
the toy
Richard
instrument.
Newell was saying to him, it's like the two of them were in the club, like the occasional instrument club, and
We had to enroll
Novelty
Les in the novelty instrument union. You know
That's
that.
it.
That's right.
That's what Sonny
A whole
called it.
other
The
union.
novelty instrument union. Perfectly.
I played double.
Along with the kazoo, I think is the thing, right?
No,
He gets half scale for that.
Zoo people out.
No,
It was a clash.
I would remember years ago. I saw Trinity Church in Toronto. I saw Greg Keeler was playing when he was doing his solo stuff, and he had a fella just playing a plastic garbage bag doing the percussion, but it sounded like just a nice sort. And how he did it was so perfectly, and it was just, you know, this epiphany that I had. It's like it really, it's not about what you're playing. It's
how you play.
and how willing you are to put yourself on the line, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being coy and, "Oh, I hope they like this," you know, just put it out there.
Was it a green garbage bag?
No, it was a small, regular shopping bag. Probably if you had the big garbage bag, you'd be too loud. Kicked off. Tighten that up with a drum key. You know?
There's a great video clip of Lenny Bruce playing money. He's playing a dollar bill.
And you can make music out of everything. So I want to play another track off of Tricknology. I think we're gonna go with Angelina. Is that got a dark and brooding story? Most of the time when it's something about a woman.
Well, no. It's actually, somebody asked me, "Is that about Angelina Jolie?" And I said, "No." The guy who mastered our CD asked me that. No, it's kind of like a requiem for my mother who passed away while we were making that record.
And it's really nice. I had a friend who died recently, and they found a note that he had left. And after I spoke at his funeral, they gave me the note, and it's got some words on it that I'm gonna, you know, and I absolutely think a song is a great place to
Wonderful tribute.
remember someone forever, you know, because everything, that jam of life is in a song, all that emotion, all that care, and we get to hear a little piece of humanity from Trickbag here, Barbershop Podcast. This is Angelina. It's Angelina. Beautiful song. By
the album starts with an instrumental and ends with an instrumental. That's the one it ends with.
It's nice. And then to put it mildly, it's transcendent. And music really has that ability, and I've said it time again. It's like if you're going to march the masses, or you're going to, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do it to music. It has a fundamental power, to change people's moods and to alleviate stress and depression and the things that keep us down and limit us in this world. So I've said it many times. Every week, I'm privileged to have someone or people come in and they embody, a positivity, believing in themselves, and quite often a David and Goliath kind of story, the struggle, to make your way in the arts. And I should be paying the guests, because it's better than to seeing a psychiatrist every week. And I get a little thrill, certainly the way you play. So without much ado, it's a holiday season. People tend to get down this time of year. The days get short and they get cold. There's stresses.
Oh yeah.
Money, family.
I agree.
And and it's tough, and I think all of us know that that's the case. But it's about this time, as we start getting close to Christmas, that we start feeling those pangs about how important Christmas is. On many different levels,
that would have been a great segue into our brand new Christmas song that we're not gonna do tonight.
It hasn't been
recorded. We're gonna record it.
We're gonna do it.
But
let's wrote it on the way here.
It must be Christmas because I hear somebody crying. But we're not gonna do that. But it's okay.
But you'll do something that will give us some flavor.
We're gonna record that one at Valley View Studios for Christmas song number 12.
What?
Nice.
And one day, Trickbag will have a Christmas album.
That's right. It's ready to go.
That's right. Unless 12 years.
Unless Rick Andrews taking.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, what are you gonna? We're
gonna do "Fool Nobody But Me," and it's a tune that is on Tricknology. We were talking about the influence of New Orleans music, and actually the lady who performed this is Irma Thomas, and she's really a performer for me that I could identify with, because she kind of merged that R&B sound, but also flavored with that New Orleans music that Paul was talking about earlier. But it's written by Doc Pomus, which is who is another great songwriter, and Mac Rebenak, who is Dr. John.
Two doctors, no waiting.
Yeah.
Neither one could write a prescription on it.
No,
well, that's open to debate.
Legally.
Couldn't write one.
They just don't write them to pharmacists.
He would write it for you, but he'll cash it in for you.
Well, it's the real deal, and it's here for you.
Let me say something.
Oh,
this song, I'm not going to sing this song, but this song I picked for Donna because I said to her, "This is you. This is your personality."
That's his perspective.
If you listen to no, that's her.
Yeah.
If you listen to the lyrics, it's Donna.
And you were right.
That Christmas song would have been great too. I'm kidding. That's not nice.
I'm gonna write a song next year, Les, and I'm gonna call it "Get Over Christmas."
I should mention Dennis Kennedy played piano on this on the recording, so we're going to do it acoustically.
Beautifully.
I never tell my left hand what my right hand is doing. I never know which old road that I should be pursuing. That is why it's so plain to see. Ooh-wee. That is why I never fool nobody but me. And if I should stay awake, I always wind up sleeping. And even when I close my eyes, I always wind up peeping. That is why it's so plain never fool nobody but me. I came and I saw, I conquered nothing at all. And every time I try to live higher, I got that much further to fall, yeah. Oh, that's the blues. Nothing at all. And every time I try to live higher, I got that much further to fall. I don't know why I should zig when I should be zagging. And even when I hold my head high, my tail keeps right on dragging. That is why it's so plain to see. Ooh-wee. That is why I never fool nobody but me. Oh, that's what I said. I never fool nobody but me. Oh, here we go. And one more time. I never fool nobody but me. At least that's what they say.
Hot damn, Trickbag, giving it up, giving it real here at Barbershop Podcast. Great job.
Thank you.
You know, we're going to wrap it up in a bit. I want to play one more tune before we say goodbye. Again, you know, if you guys get an opportunity to come to Hamilton, check out the music scene here. It's rich. If you live in a different part of the world and you see this podcast, book your trip tomorrow. Come to Hamilton. Guaranteed good times.
I got to tell you one thing, Kevin. I used to mention this. We do this King Biscuit Boy tribute every year down at Leander, Blues with a Feeling. There's 3 brothers that come up. One from California, one from Ohio, and one from Colorado, I think. And one picks up the other one, picks up the other one. Mm-hmm. And they come up because they're huge Crowbar King Biscuit Boy fans. They've never seen them. They just bought their records down and they're when you say that this, you know, come to Hamilton, you know, these guys, and they say when they're crossing the border at Buffalo, the guy says, "Where are you going?" He says, "We're going to Hamilton for this big show." The guy, "Why do you want to go to Hamilton?" He says, "Man, there's music. You don't know the music that's in Hamilton."
Right. It's not amazing in Toronto. It's specifically happening.
Yeah, and you know what?
We've got our own thing going on.
It's incredible because we do that to ourselves here at this town. You know, it's like you kind of look and say, "Yeah, well, it's good." It's like, no, it's not until you have the perspective of kind of stepping back and saying that is world class. And we have world-class musicians here.
Yep. You know, I would like to point out one thing about Hamiltonians who are musicians is that we always play with our heart and we play hard. I remember doing a gig one time with a soundman from Toronto. Well, she was a sound person. Yeah. She said to me after we finished our first set, "God, you guys really play hard. Like, you're not like Toronto guys. You're like,
you're not
really
phoning her in.
You're really playing." She was like surprised at how hard we played. You know, it wasn't not that we played really loud, but because we were all playing intensely. You know, and she was from Toronto. You know, so I think that's the thing about Hamilton. We it's such a hard-edged town that there is no bullshit.
No, I was at an open stage last night, and every person who went up there could have been headlining somewhere, you know, and some, you know, do, but on a Tuesday night, it's like someone who It's like, wow, one bang, bang, bang after another.
Where was that? At the West Town?
This one was at the St. Hollywood. But it's like Tuesday nights. There seems to be like 5 of them going on, and a lot of times people would rotate around. But both Ians were there, and it was like. It was fantastic, and there's always that great sense of community too, where people haven't played together get a chance to 7. It's like, okay, well, I don't really play bass, but I'll play drums. Will you do this for me? Okay, it's A, and then there's an F. You hold it, ready, go, and it works, and that's nice when it has that. Yeah. I ask you to pick one wild card too. We're going to go with 3 pre-recorded, but we're gonna play 4 song off the CD, and you kind of decided on "Walk That Talk." So, what is it about that song that you feel is representative of Trickbag and what Trickbag does?
That's Larry's song.
Everybody the instrumental that opens.
We hate it. It's Larry's thing.
It's only Larry's.
Everybody plays a solo. I think that's the key. Everybody gets to do some little feature. Yeah.
Well, the whole idea behind that tune and the title of it is just don't just talk the talk, walk.
It's a very Hamilton thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
You got to back it up, and that's certainly something we do on a regular basis here in Hamilton. And God damn it, if Trickbag doesn't do it,
it's another one of those real spontaneous ones. I think we did it in maybe one take or something.
It was a one taker. Yeah.
These are the very best.
Yeah. They are. I love one takers.
Yeah.
And
you get it fresh, hot out of the oven. A one taker right here. Walk That Talk here at BarbershopPodcast.com. Trickbag here at BarbershopPodcast.com, where they're telling you better walk that talk. And as we said, that's what we do here all the time. Guys, I want to thank you for coming into the studio, sharing a little bit of the Trickbag story, and playing some music live. If you get a chance to see this band, do so. They're going to be institutionalized. And by that I mean they're putting you up on the hill. You got your own ward. They've named it after you.
We get a day pass.
Yeah, we've got a day pass.
West Smith.
West Fifth and
West
Benham.
Smith.
World-class music each and every week right out of Hamilton, Ontario. BarbershopPodcast.com. Tell all your friends. Next week we got the lovely Ginger St. James, Snow Heel Slim in here in the studio. It's going to be another great show. Thanks for coming out each and every week. We love you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks.